So what happens when your contract with a client ends? That's actually a question that many business owners don't have an answer to. And if you're one of them, no worries. This is actually called client offboarding, which is the final step in building that also meaningful client relationship that's going to keep them coming back to you time and time again with more projects, and even better, they're going to refer others to you. When you work one-on-one with clients, you tend to focus on the onboarding process because you want to make sure that that new relationship with your client starts off on the right foot. So you work well with them through the customer journey, you hit all the targets, and they're happy and satisfied because you gave them the awesome results that you promised. But after you complete all of your tasks, most of the time, we tend to just walk away, even if we've developed a good relationship with our clients. So what exactly can you do at the end of that phase of the journey to help them reflect on the wonderful experience that they had with you so you don't just go your separate ways? Well, that's why you need an offboarding process. It's how you officially close out a project, but just like onboarding, it's meant to help the client navigate the next phase of working with you. Your client should feel totally supported even after that contract with you ends, and that's what a good offboarding process does. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you a simple 5-step process that you can use to end the work, but continue to nurture that relationship with your clients. But before I dive into today's topic, I wanted to share a listener review. It's from Growth Agent, and they said, "Great. These are great practical tips to help business owners get organized and stay organized. The information was clear and concise and valid for any business." Well, Growth Agent, I'm going to thank you for tuning in and for leaving a review. And if you enjoy the podcast as well, I would love to hear from you too. So please show me some love, leave a rating and review in Apple Podcasts, and I will feature you in an upcoming episode as well. Now that that's out of the way, let's get on with episode number 40. Welcome back to the More Than Capable Mompreneur podcast. I'm Shannon Baker, a coffee-loving mompreneur that started as a virtual assistant and turned into a total systems geek. And I want to help you shift your mindset and embrace your worthiness while creating systems in your business so you can be more productive and build success on your own terms without the mom guilt. Are you loving that? Well, I hope you're ready for real conversations that will help you beat the perfectionist inside, rediscover your strengths, and up-level your self-love in the mom cracks of time so you can stop letting fear hold you back because you are enough and you do enough. We are more than capable mompreneurs. So grab your cup of coffee, some sparkling water, or pour a glass of your favorite wine and let's dive in. Okay, let's be real. Getting new clients is hard work, especially the type of clients that you want to work with that pay well. But what's even more important is having those clients come back in the future with even more work for you. They say it takes roughly 5 times more time and energy to land a new client than it does to keep an existing one. So if you can get even just 5% of your clients to come back, you should be able to increase your profitability by 25 to 125%. That is huge. But how can you do that? Well, the best way to keep an existing client is to impress them with good work and by exceeding their expectations, right? But then when you fulfill your contract, you need to also have a smooth offboarding process. This transitions them from just being one of your current clients to being a repeat client. Your offboarding process validates the experience that they've had while working with you. And keep this in mind. You want to be an influencer in their life. Now, I'm talking about you being the one who can affect their purchasing decisions because of your authority and your expertise, your knowledge, your position, your relationship with them. Basically, they trust you so much that you inspire or guide, influence their actions. I talk more about this in episode 22 of the podcast, where I talk about some simple things that you can do to elevate your customer experience so you create super fans. So make sure you go back and listen to that episode later. But right now, when we talk about that offboarding process, think of this. If you don't have one, it's like you slam on the brakes in your relationship during the smooth ride. Not only will that startle you and your client, but it makes them wonder what happened. You don't want your clients to feel like that. Never leave them feeling like they paid you a ton of money and in the end you just walked away. It's quite an empty and cold feeling. I've personally been on the receiving end of this with a website designer that I worked with in the past. Everything was great for, the first couple of years or so. They even hosted my website for me. But then when I started asking for specific files and decided I wanted to move my website from their hosting site to my own, there were crickets. So I didn't feel supported, even though I thought we had a good working relationship. And let's be honest, even if you work really well with someone, at some point, they may decide that they want to go in another direction. Your offboarding process is the bridge that says, there are no hard feelings and I wish you the best. So this is what we're going to do next, and let's stay in touch. Contact me if you have any issues. That's what your offboarding process should do. One of the greatest ways to be a leader of your business is to measure your success by how you help your clients achieve a specific transformation. Make sure that you deliver on that promise that you made. And then afterwards, guide them to resources that are going to help them to continue to build their success. It's not just about you making money off of them. So here is a simple 5-step process that you can follow to create a great onboarding process that just adds to your customer's experience with you. Step 1, you want to make sure you give them advance notice. Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, why would I want to let them know that the contract is coming to an end? Well, honestly, if you've been doing your part in delivering on your services as promised, they should be surprised to know that their time working with you is almost up. This presents the opportunity for you to extend your contract or even add on additional services they may not even know you offer, or they didn't originally need at first, but now you've put them in a position that they can work with you on additional services. Now, I usually send my notice about 30 days before the contract end date. And the email basically says, it's hard to believe that our agreement is coming to an end, and I state the date. I've really enjoyed working with you to get your business systems in place so that your business can grow. I hope our working relationship will continue on for a very long time to come. Over the past 90 days, we've accomplished the following, and I list specifically all the things that we've accomplished together. Then I say, at your earliest convenience, please click here to schedule a review call so that we can discuss the final deliverables and the next steps. It's that simple. I've given them a big picture of all the things that we've accomplished together. And now for step 2, send your final invoice. Now, depending on your payment terms, now is the time to send your final invoice or a payment reminder. Now, some contracts state that payment in full must be received before any deliverables will be turned over. And if you haven't been paid and need to be paid, I hope that those terms are in your contract. You need to make sure that you get paid before you start wrapping things up. Now, step 3, send a goodbye message. You're going to be putting some really important information in this email and the attachments that are included. So you want to make sure that they actually read it. You can ensure that this happens by mentioning this to them when you have that final review call. Now, what can you include in this email? 1, make sure you give them a breakdown of the time that you've worked together. Again, be sure to include the outcomes and the transformations that you've achieved so it reminds them of the value of your services. Put all of the client's deliverables into a nice folder and give them access at the end of the contract. It's a nice touch for you to put them all in one place and to give them access so they don't have to search for everything. Create this folder in Google Drive, Dropbox, or OneDrive, or somewhere that you can create a link and just share that link with them to give them access. But let them know that it only exists for a limited amount of time, so they need to copy their files out of there by that date. And don't forget to include the date. And then you can just delete that folder so it frees up storage space. But don't send that link until you receive your final payment, if those are your payment terms. You can also include a list of things that you're going to be closing up, like your Slack channel with them, your project board in Trello or Asana, things like that. And also let them know the date that this is going to happen based on your contract terms. And then the third thing, you can include a list of any websites or social media profiles that they've given you access to, or any other accounts that they've made you an administrator. Hopefully you've been tracking those yourself so that you can let them know that they need to now update all of that for security reasons. I give my clients a list of accounts that I have access to. It makes it so much easier for them to know that they need to just go into their LastPass account, look at what they've shared with me, and revoke my access or change the passwords there. And then number 4, this is an extra, but it's a nice touch. If you've set up new technology for your clients, or if there's some tasks that they've never really done themselves or aren't really good at with the systems that you've created, give them some video tutorials they can use for their reference. Leaving them with tutorials will make it easier for them to do things on their own, and it avoids you being bombarded with questions long after you've stopped working together. It makes it easier for them, and it keeps you, again, from getting a bunch of questions and emails that you have to remember to respond to or walk them through this troubleshooting after the fact. So if you tend to implement the same apps for your clients, then here's a good thing. You can record the tutorial one time using like Loom, Screencast, or even Zoom and show them exactly what they need to do. And then you just create a share link for that video and just share it with multiple clients just by giving them the link. It's like the SOS button that they need when they're done working with you. Now, step number 4. This is a personal touch that will definitely make sure you are remembered. Send them a handwritten thank you note. After everything is said and done, a thank you hand note is such a marvelous personal touch. You can even include a gift card to something that they would love, like their favorite coffee shop or a place to shop, whatever the case may be. But it's a very simple way to go above and beyond. Then in the future, you're going to stay front of mind with them. And the next time they're thinking about hiring someone and they look at that handwritten note card that they received from you because it's sitting in their office somewhere or pinned to a wall, they're going to email or call you. Why? Because unexpected gifts make all of us feel important and valued. So use those. Then step number 5, this one is critical for you. Make sure you follow up. Don't forget to follow up after a predetermined amount of time to make sure that they're satisfied with the way that things turned out, just to see how things are going, and to ask for a testimonial. That's why you need to make sure you don't wait too long, because you want them to remember all the progress that they've made because of working with you. Happy clients will gladly give you a testimonial also if you make it easy for them. So there are 2 options that you can use to get a review. You can create an email template that asks for the review and includes a link to like your Facebook page where they can just leave the review and others can see it. Or you can send them a simple survey where they just answer, make it multiple choice so they can pick the answers, and then a few fill-in blocks for them to share their thoughts as well. Then, after you get these reviews, make sure you don't forget to actually use them. Add them to your website, share them in Instagram stories, create a highlight in your profile page with them. You can use them on your Facebook page. They're part of your marketing. It lets people know that your services have value. That's why they want to work with you. Now, let's review those 5 steps again so that you can shore up your offboarding process. Step 1, send them advance notice. It's a chance for you to review the progress that you've made with them on a call, and you can outline the next steps and even offer some additional services. Step 2, remember to send your final invoice if you need to so that you can get paid before you give that final deliverable. Step 3, send them a goodbye message, which again is a breakdown of all the things you've accomplished while working together. Put all of their deliverables in a folder where they can access their deliverables for a specific amount of time. Let them know you're going to be closing out communication boards, project boards, etc. And then let them know what security updates they need to make to their passwords and access that you've been given. If you want to add the special touch of video tutorials so they can use those tools that you've set up for them, then you can do that. Step 4, send a thank you note. Everyone loves getting a good old-fashioned note card in the mail. So send one to your clients, and if you want, add a personal touch like a gift card to say thank you for choosing you. And then step 5, don't forget the fortune is in the follow-up. So don't wait too long to send a follow-up message. It's a great time to ask for that testimonial that you can use in your marketing. So make sure you send it no more than 60 days after you've finished working with them. So as you can see, the way you end things with a client is just as important as how you start working with them. And that's something that a lot of business owners forget to do. But that's not going to be you because you're listening to this episode. So if you want to stand out in your industry, you need to create a personalized offboarding process using these steps. Now, I know you have a lot on your plate. So if you want my help getting your process mapped out and implemented, please schedule a 60-minute clarity call with me and we can get all of the pieces mapped out and in place so you can cross this off your to-do list. Now, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this week's episode. You can find the details and a link to the other episode that I mentioned. And also there's going to be a freebie in there to help you with your customer care process in case you're missing that as well. The links are going to be in the show notes. Now, if you enjoyed listening to the show, please make sure you subscribe in your favorite podcast platform and show me some love by leaving me a rating and a review in Apple Podcasts. Now, if you learned something new, please let me know. Take a screenshot, post it in Instagram stories, and make sure you tag me at the More Than Capable Mompreneur. And remember, you are more than enough. So until next time, keep calm and streamlined.